Well, hello and welcome to NEWUP Weather News for our Sunday evening report. Thanks so much for tuning in to the YouTube channel or on our Facebook page. I want to start by talking about where we all went wrong on Friday. You probably woke up on Saturday expecting maybe you'd see a little bit of snow, especially if you were in Vilas, Gogebic, or Vilas or Gogebic County or Western Upper Peninsula, and may have been pleasantly surprised or sad to see that there was no snow on the ground. So I brought up the model again that we looked at on Thursday night when we had our last video. And again, if you recall, we said that starting at about midnight and then working through the overnight hours, there was going to be this band of snow that was going to set up kind of right along the Vilas Gogebic County line. Well, what I should have done is also looked at the temperatures. It's kind of like doing a book report by just judging it off of the title and not actually reading the book. That's kind of how I felt. So if we go back to this model that we were looking at, you will notice that if you watch the temperatures as I go through this model, that the temperatures, with the exception of some isolated locations in central Wisconsin, never dropped below freezing. So, for example, right even along that line of Vilas and Gogebic counties, 35 degrees. And this is at midnight. 3 a.m. it's 36. Even warmer at 6 a.m. on Friday morning. The temperatures never really got there. So that is, I think, where the error came in. And if I had done a little bit more research on that, I think I would have not been in such a bad spot with my forecast. So my apologies for bringing you that inaccurate forecast, but we're going to move on from it. So I do want to talk about some potential for some snow tonight. And this is particularly for the folks who live in the Lake Superior snow belts. So you've probably are well aware that it's been unusually warm for this time of year. Lake Superior is wide open, but that there are still going to be bursts of cold air. And that tonight and tomorrow, Monday, and even going into Tuesday, it's going to be pretty chilly. And that's really going to allow that lake effect snow machine to get rolling. So this is a short range, the North American model. So I'm just pulling up here. This would be right now 6 o'clock tonight. You can see if you look around Minnesota, there's a bit of a weak cold front that's going to be pushing through. So there's that. Plus, if you look, these are called isobars, these black lines. They're getting close together. And if you remember from a previous video, when you get those isobars close together, what that means is your winds are stronger. So you've got this weak cold front coming through. Couple that with strong north to northwest winds coming across an open Lake Superior into cold temperatures, you're going to get snow. So you're going to see here, this would be at midnight tonight, that snow ongoing, scattered in spots, but you can see what the model is trying to do, I think, is define a line of, or different lines of lake effect snow bands that are going to be coming across. So like, for example, Northern Iron and Vilas County, and then here Ontonagon getting into Southern Houghton County. And you probably will see that too across like Marquette County, Alger County, going over towards Schoolcraft County in the eastern part of the UP also. So that's going to be ongoing. And then what you're seeing with this band of snow right here that's kind of running along a line from like Munising down to Milwaukee is that weak cold front. So those two things put together are going to give us a chance for some snow tonight, especially in those Lake Superior snow belts. 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Again, don't take this as like this is exactly how it's going to be. You're just giving the idea of like these lake effect snow bands that you're seeing set up in the usual places. And because that wind stays strong, and you'll notice that the wind starts to come out of the east, that's going to keep going northeast, and that's why all of a sudden now you're seeing that snow coming down in columns through like Marquette and Alger County, and it's kind of shutting down in the western UP. So as that low pressure, that weak front moves through, eventually that will cool off and will allow those lake effect snow showers to stop. So this would be 6 p.m. on Monday night. So we're looking at about a 12-hour period. So I want to go back here if I can, and we'll hit refresh just to make sure I got the most up-to-date information. And you can see that we have a winter weather advisory that's been issued for Vilas County, Gogebic, Ontonagon, all of Houghton County, Keweenaw, Baraga, Marquette, and Alger County, and Iron County too, even though I don't really include them in my forecast. This is until noon Central tomorrow or 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And the National Weather Service is seeming to like about a 3 to 6 inch range for most of the people in those advisory areas. Some places may get as high as 8. So this is their forecast. Now, again, like I said, don't take this as, okay, if you are in, that kind of Michigami area, you're going to get 6 to 8 inches of snow. Not necessarily. It depends on where those snow bands line up. So what I want you to take away from this map is this is where you're going to see those lake effect snow bands setting up. So again, kind of along the spine of the Keweenaw Peninsula down into Ironwood, northern Vilas County, far northwest, so like Manitowish Waters, and then getting up towards Mercer, Boulder Junction, Land O'Lakes. But then you're going to have that sharp cutoff, I would say pretty much south of Trout Lake. And south of that, you might not see anything. Same thing, you get south of Amasa in Iron County, or south of the Marquette Dickinson County line, going into Menominee County. If you're living south of that area, I wouldn't count on maybe but a dusting of snow with this system tonight. So really the main focal point is for those actual Lake Superior snow bands right along the line of the heavier snow that you see here. And if I go back to the map, again, you can see those counties that are shaded in purple. Those are the counties that are in this advisory until noon Central Time tomorrow or 1 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow. Moving on to what we should expect for this week, I got the GFS model pulled up here, and it's indicating onto that lake effect snow. You can see there. But I'll tell you what, as we move through the day after on Monday and the winds calm down, it's going to be a relatively quiet period of time. So here we are at 6 a.m. Wednesday, not a whole lot. You can see that some warmer air is going to be moving in. This is midnight going into the morning on Thursday, and slight push of warmer air. And then you will notice here we got 6 a.m. on Friday. The GFS likes to bring in some rain. And if I let this play out, you will see that it stays strictly as rain throughout the entire time. Getting through to Saturday, and then again to Sunday, the GFS wants to bring in a little bit more rain going into Christmas. So I think for those of us that are not in those lake effect snow belts, our dreams of a white Christmas are going to be dashed pretty quickly this week. Now that's the GFS model. The Euro does not get as aggressive with the rain. So again, you're seeing here the lake effect snow in the upper peninsula and that cold front come through. And then again, quiet weather, warmer air pushes in. But you'll notice that the Euro doesn't bring that warm air as far north as the GFS does, but it also doesn't bring in that big glug of rain or rain showers. It keeps it to ourselves. And then again, going into Christmas, warmer air pushes in, and I'll skip ahead just a few days here, and you'll see that, again, this Model 2 is trying to push in some rain for Christmas. But this, with the way that the temperature gradient would be here, we may see more of a rain-snow mix. But that's 8 days out, still a little bit shaky as far as consistency with that. For temperatures on the GFS this week, things are going to change much later in the week. The front part of the week, Monday, Tuesday, it's going to be cold. Colder than it's been in a minute. So you'll see here, this is noon on Monday. Temperatures are only in the teens and 20s. And what I'd like to take a look at also is wind chill factor on that day, because we know that the wind is going to be a lot stronger on Sunday or on Monday throughout the day. That's what's driving that lake effect snow machine. So we're going to take a look at some of these wind chill factors as we go into the day on Monday. And you can see that with that strong north-northwest wind, we're at noon here. This would be 9 a.m. Monday, single-digit wind chills, and you can see how it moves across the area. So anticipate that it's going to be a little bit chilly on Monday, and then Tuesday is also going to be a pretty chilly day too. So once we get past Monday and Tuesday, Then the temperatures are going to start to moderate out and then get quite warm again. And by quite warm, remember that's December standards. So we're getting into Wednesday afternoon here, low to mid 30s, taking you to Thursday afternoon, upper 30s to low 40s. Friday afternoon, again, same thing, upper 30s to low 40s. This is on the GFS model. And then you'll notice the temperatures really don't deviate much. They actually only get progressively warmer every hour that it goes by. This is Christmas midnight, Sunday night going into Christmas morning. You can see spots in western Wisconsin and out in Minnesota and Iowa could be in the 50s overnight. So moving into Christmas morning, I again, I don't. We're going to be hard pressed to find a white Christmas in a lot of places. So this would be noon on Christmas Day, and you can see that those warmer temperatures are really wanting to push into Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula. Same thing is being shown on the European model. I'm going to move through this a little bit quicker. So we understand tomorrow and going into Tuesday, colder temperatures than we've felt in a while, potentially some of the coldest air we've had all season, and that's saying something because it's been a pretty warm season. But then temperatures will regulate out, keeping us in the mid to low 30s. And then as we get into that weekend, this one likes to, the European model likes to keep a little bit of a slug of cold air in there. I'm more convinced that it's going to be pretty consistent, kind of like what we've seen over the last week or so, where temperatures just really moderate. And, middle of the day, it's 39, 40 degrees. You go to bed and it's 36, 37 degrees. They really don't waver much. And for December, that's pretty crazy. So this would be noon on Christmas Day with the European model. And if you remember, I was talking about how the looked like it wanted to have that temperature gradient where the freezing temperatures would actually be a little bit closer than the warmer temperatures. And this European model keeps the warmer temperatures down in the central United States. I'll take a look at that again on Sunday and see if we can get a little bit of a better look at that. So for now, why don't we go ahead and we'll take a look at the week forecast. So we got, I put flurries here because by the time we get into Monday, the lake effect snow is going to be wrapping up. The winter weather advisory ends at noon. So we will be wrapping that up. And you can see the temperatures are going to be in the low 20s to teens. And remember, those wind chills are going to be in the single digits. Same thing into Tuesday. It'll be sunny, but we're going to be expecting some colder than usual temperatures, a little bit warmer by the lake, upper 20s to low 30s, except for along the lake shore. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, pretty much carbon copies of each other to a point, except for the temperatures will get a little bit warmer every day. You're going to see some clouds. It's going to be dry, with the exception of Friday, where maybe if that GFS is getting into something where there might be some rain, that might come through. But again, mid to upper 30s, pushing into the low 40s by Friday. And then the weekend, going into Christmas, low to mid 40s, possibly pushing 50 by Sunday, going into Christmas Day. Monday, it's going to be a pretty crazy Christmas this year with the warmer weather that we've been seeing. If I can pull this up here, see if I can find it. I've got the CFS model, which we looked at last week, and this is the longest range model that I have here. So we'll just take a look at that real quick, just so you can see kind of what's coming down the pike in the future here. So you can see where this is also sort of touching on that possibility for rain, and then keeping that temperature gradient kind of right over us. But then you can see this ridge of warmer air is going to be coming in as we go through Christmas. And this implies that we might see a little bit more active weather on Christmas Day. Again, I'll keep an eye on that because every model is doing something different. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But as we go through the week after Christmas, you can see that colder air is going to eventually return. We might see a couple of snow flurries coming through. If you remember what I said last week about these long-range models, once you get out past 10 days, things get really, it's not as accurate as you'd like it to be. It's indicating some of that wet weather on Christmas, like the other models were kind of hinting at. Same thing with that little bit of a Friday system. But then as we go through into the week after Christmas, cooler air and potentially some snow showers around the new year. But really, all in all, pretty quiet in the Midwest here for Christmas and New Year's. So I think I've gone too long, but I'm gonna cut this one off. I hope you have a really great rest of your day and a great week, and we will see you next Sunday. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good day.